come to this slide again. Okay, now I should go to my VS Code. So for creating class, we can create the class in any module. Okay, here in main.py, I am creating a class. So what is the keyword to create the class? It's small c, LASS. Okay, and I want to create a class called person. And this is nothing but empty class. Now, this is empty class. This statement is similar to this. This is also empty class. Here I have showed that I am inheriting from object class, but here I have not shown. That means it's not required. By default, you can assume that this person class is inheriting from object class. So it's up to you whether you want to specify this or not. Okay, if it is not mentioned, it is still there. Object class, still it is inheriting from. That is empty class. Now, in our class, first of all, how to create object, how to create object out of class. So whenever we are creating object, we have to name that object. Okay, so what name I can give? Like obj of person. This is your variable name, obj of person. And how to create class? We can write here class name followed by round brackets. I want to see what is the type of obj. Say, what is written? Obj underscore person is having type person because this is something we have created out of person class. Okay, that is about creation of objects. So this is a very simple example of how to create an objects. Creation of objects can be done in many other ways also. We are going to cover every example in our discussion. Now that was empty class. I want to define class with attributes and some behaviors. So in PPT, I told what are attributes? Variable names, variables in Python, class. They are called attributes. And what are behaviors? These are methods. So class, again person. This time let me use this syntax. I don't want to specify object because now we come to know that it is all the same. If you are not indicating here object, still it is there. So inside person, what I want to see what is the name. Okay, so I can write over here some name, for example, then email like xyz@gmail. This is like uh, initializing with some default values for a person. That person can be Pavni, that person can be Ram, that person can be Harish. Okay. So this is a prototype I'm defining. Now you'll get a picture like it's why it is a prototype, because every person will be having some name. Okay, maybe email it won't be having. So if email is not there, we'll use the other attributes like age or school or institute or nationality. Those things we can use in case of person. Person, what person can do? Person can speak. Correct. Now here, let me use this self. Person can speak. So I will write here F. What happened? Name is not defined. Okay. So straight away it is asking me that you have to use self before this variable name. Why? Because this self indicates the instance. It is telling that this name is related with your person class. Okay. So you have to use every time self. Here also I have indicated self because it will say, do we have any parameter? Yeah, see here. Self at the rate person. It indicates this speak, it will be related to your person. So use self. Okay, here also. It is also related with your person. So something which is related with your class, it has to be written with self. And more general way, we use the word called instance. So self speak, person can walk, person can speak. So we have created one class with, these are my attributes, and these are my methods. This is method one, this is method two, second method. Now, how to create object creation in this case? We can write like obj underscore, any name as per your choice. Person is equal to your class name. Class name is person, and that's it. Now I want to see with this all obj underscore person, what are the methods available? So this I will comment. See, these things are available for this obj underscore person. What we can use? All these special methods we can use along with email, name, speak and walk we can use. So in case if you want to display the name of this person, what we can write? We can write obj using now object we will be able to print the attributes dot name dot email. Then obj dot speak. So now since this is not your attribute, this is your method speak and walk, we have to use this round bracket. Obj dot walk. Let me execute this file. Dir is not needed. So name it has printed, email ID it has printed. Then I want to see the behavior. So I've called, this is like calling the functions, methods, calling the methods of person. So I have used this speak, need not to print because that will be done by your method itself. So Pavni can speak, Pavni can walk. Now, what is the advantage of creating class? Okay, that we can do using normal functions also. Correct. We can create normal functions, speak and walk, and we can just call that function. Then things will execute for us. What is the advantage of doing this? I'll tell you what is the advantage. So now, what I'll do, I will create a different object, person 2, with the person class, and this time I want to override the value. Okay, I want to override this parameters. How to override? So before overriding, this is the way to instance. We want to pass the parameters, the parameters values. In order to change this name, by default it is Pavani, I want to change it to something else. So for that we'll use some other syntax. So what syntax I can use? And this syntax they used a lot, not the one I've written just now. So what I will do, I will define something called init. Self, it will indicate that this uh, is related with your person. Okay, this is not independent, this is related with the person. Self will indicate, and inside this I will write, I will take those two arguments, whatever I'm going to pass. So what I'm going to pass is this one, self dot name. So we need to follow this syntax. Maybe initially it will be tough for you, but as soon as you are going to write as many times, it will become you will learn it. So let me check now. I have only what I have done. I have passed this. Let me pass here now. This time I will pass down and ram at the rate gmail. Here I have hard coded the value, okay, to Pavani and Gmail. But here, what I will do, I'll tell you. There is a change here.
Is it something like overloading?
This is not overloading. This is like it's a kind of prototype. You have defined a prototype. You have not hard coded the values. Now, based on your requirement, you can use this prototype. Okay. Now, what is the common behavior of that prototype? That person can speak, should be able to speak and walk. That class should have this attributes, name and email ID. Okay. Now I'll tell you. So this time, object 1. I'll create two objects, and one with Ram and one with Pavni. And I will see. Let me see here the DIR of OPJ. One print DIR of J2. See what will be getting here. Yeah, let me print one new line. Yes, readability. See this object that I've created, object underscore obj underscore person one. These many things are available for this objects. That object that I've created out of it, this RAM and Gmail ID or email ID that I have passed, it has these many attributes. I can print the name of that person, that okay, and I can see for the speak and walk behavior also I can print. Oh, let me use the same code. Uh, so comment one, one, one. Same thing here also. Why have properties twice? So this is no, we know now what are the functions available with these objects, correct? So object underscore person name this this has to be two. Okay, we know what we are doing here, so I will omit this one. Not required. See, I have created an object using these values. That is obj underscore person one. And I'm checking what is the name, what is the email ID, what is the behavior for this object. And this is all object is for Ram, correct? Again, I want to create one more object for another person. This time the person is Pavni. Okay, what is the common between both of them? Both are persons having this common behaviors. Okay, so that's why we have created a class for that. And we are using the same class to define the different objects. Now I can work with Ram as well as I can work with Pavani. I can also work with Harish because everybody has having some common attributes, and we have created an object out of it. And now instead of working with functions, we'll work with objects. Okay, so I hope you might have got some sense now. Why objects are important. Now, if you want, you can change this name to some other, variable. For example, here using object obj dot name. Let me do it. Otherwise, I will say next example. We will come to know many advantages. Okay. Uh, there overriding and all everything we are going to discuss. We can change the attributes. So This is something I want to discuss as of now is init. So what happens whenever, uh, let me comment this as of now. Whenever we create objects, this is a way to create object, correct? I hope there is no confusion in how to create object. We can use this syntax. Another way, the simple syntax was this one. We can create object this way also. So whenever what is happening in this code, I'll tell you first of all the flow. Okay, whenever this is the first line, it will create an object. Okay, so before that, whenever we create class, this class got defined somewhere. This can be in the same file, this can be in some other file also. If it is there in some other file, this code, we need to import that class. Okay, so as of now, for simplicity, I have created in the same file. Whenever we create an object of a class, then this init method, it will be called. How can I demonstrate that init is getting called? For that, let me uh, put some debugger here, like init dot call. What happened? So here init got called twice. What can be the reason init got called twice? Because we are creating objects twice. Here also we are creating object, here also we are creating object. And that's why just now I've told, whenever we are going to create an object, this method, init method, it will get called. And since it is getting called, it is going to execute these two statements. And what is the advantage of these two statements? We have passed some values inside this person class. That those values will come to these variables. Ram will be assigned to name, then this Ram at the rate Gmail ID, it will assigned to email. And what after that, what I'm doing, I am assigning these values. These are the values, name and Gmail, to my instance variable. Why instance variable is required? Because we are dealing with class. After that, in entire your classes, whenever you want to use name and email ID, you have to use these variables, self.name, self.email ID. Simply name and Gmail, it won't work. We have to use these two. And this will indicate that your variables are instance variable or class, not class variable. Class variable is different. There is a confusion, I can understand, but whenever this self will come, you think that these are instance variable, these are instance method. Now the scope of this instance variable and instance method, it will be limited to your class. Okay, outside this class, there is no scope. Okay, if you are going to print outside, it won't work. So what is the importance of init? Init will be called whenever you are going to create an object. Now there is something called default init. So we call init as a constructor. And here it is called parameterized constructor. Why? Because we have passed some parameters here, name and Gmail ID. Okay. Here, where we have not passed init, sorry, we have not shown init here. What I will do, I will write init.
So for init, self is always a default keyword we need to mention.
Yes, for
Very
init.
first.
Yeah. because that init is related with your class. And I will print any something like init what call. So see here, I have not passed any parameter in it. Non-par empty without your parameters in it, without parameters. So I'm going to call this. So again, as per my definition of init, init will be called whenever your object is getting created. So whenever, let me comment this. So we'll see the output. I have created your object at this line number 30, correct? And these two lines as of now is not important. So I want to see something else. That's why I'm commenting this two. See, init got called. What is happening? Whenever you are creating a object of a class, whether you are passing arguments or not, or whether you are passing the parameter values or not, this function will be called. Here it is empty constructor. But in this case, this is not empty. We can use some parameters. Correct. So this is only for example. Most of the time we don't use the syntax, but I have shown you in order to understand why init why inside init. So what is the importance of init? Why to use init? Because in case if you want to initialize some parameters, we can use init every time when we are going to class, when we are going to create class, we'll create objects, we'll create objects, then init will be called, and whenever init will be called, we can do some things inside init. And here what we have done, we have initialized some values, we have passed some values. Okay, so that was about init. So init can be empty also. It can have attributes also. In Java, I don't remember what was the constructor name. Do you remember in Java? Is it init or something else? Anyway, so let me discuss something about inheritance. Okay, so inheritance is something where we are going to inherit some behaviors, where the child class will inherit some behaviors from their parent. So in that case, we'll be having some class called parent. Okay, this name you can choose as per your convenience. Now, this parent will be having some behavior, like parent can speak, and we have to use self to indicate this is instance. I will write something inside this method, speak method, that is parent can speak. Then what parent can do? Parent can walk. And I will write something similar to speak, like it is parent can walk. Now, there is one parent class I've defined. Let's define one class called child class. And this child class, it will be having some behaviors which is similar to that of parent. So in that case, what this child can do? it will inherit the attributes of parents using this syntax. What is the syntax? It can write this. And after that, let me do only pass. No need to write anything in my child class. Okay. And after this, I will create an object of this child. How to create object? This is the way we know. And I want to see what are the functions now available with my child class. So for that, the dir function is very handy function. Okay. Let me print what are the things available with my child class. See, I have not defined these two behaviors in my child class, speak and walk, but it is still available with my child class. How it is available? Because we have inherited all the properties from my parent class using this syntax. Now you understood why this class is acting like your prototype. Don't you think it is acting like a blueprint or prototype?
Harish, can you explain me this again?
Okay. So first of all, this is the topic, inheritance. Inheritance says that in case if you want to inherit the attributes and behavior from some class, okay, we can use, we have a provision to do in inheritance in Python also, just like Java and C++. Okay, so in that case, do you understand this creation of parent class?
Yes.
Okay, now I want to create some other class. Okay, I can name this class like anything. Child I will specify because this thing, this guy will act like a parent. Either it will be like father or mother. Okay, of this class. Okay. So, for example, I will name the parent uh, Harish. Harish is the parent, and I will name like son. And what son will do? Son will inherit all the properties from my Harish using this syntax. After that, I've created an object of son, and I want to see what are the methods available with my son class. So we have got to know these two methods. I'm focusing on these two, speak and walk. Speak and walk, these two attributes, these two, sorry, methods, not attributes. It has been inherited from which class?
Parent class.
From parent class, that is Harish. Okay. If you will create some class called, initially we have seen that some same class, son, and if I do pass, now see the response. Those two methods are not available here. Just like speak and walk. Now this time it is not available because this son has not inherited anything from Harish. Okay. In order to inherit, you have to use this syntax and not this one. So this is the way of inheriting the attributes from any class. And in case if you are inheriting from any class, that any class, it will become a parent class for you. And the guy or the class who is inheriting, it will become a child class. This parent and child, these terms are used only for understanding. In actual sense, what we'll do, we can use any class name like Harish, then son, just now I've used Harish and son. So in most of the example, you will see that parent and child, these two terms have been used. So that is not hard and fast. You can use some other name also. Only the important thing I wanted to show you here, once I am using this syntax, I am able to access these two methods in my child, in my son class. Okay. So this is called inheritance. Why? Because I'm able to inherit all the behaviors. How can I see? Like I'm able to inherit. So I will use this object dot son. So object underscore son. Then see speak is available. So if this is a method, no need to print. Okay. If it is attribute, we can print obj son dot walk. Again, I'm telling you, this is the object. It has been created out of this son class. Okay, in son we don't have this two behaviors, speak and walk. But there is one class called Harish. It is having this speak and walk. So what this son will do? It will inherit or everything using this inherit every attributes from Harish using this syntax. So if the son is inheriting from this class will become a parent and this class will become your child. So is it okay now? I want to rename this classes because of some,
Yes, Harish.
yeah, it's okay. So let us use parent and parent, child. Child. So this level of inheritance is called one level of inheritance. Okay, there is one parent and this is one level of inheritance because if I want to create something like grandchild, and this grandchild, I want to inherit all the attributes from child. So see what will happen here. This grandchild, it will inherit all the properties from this child because I've used this syntax. And we know that what are the things available with this child. Just now we have seen. These two methods are available, correct, with this child because of the syntax. So do you think this code will work if I'm going to replace this with my grandchild?
Yes, I think it will work.
It will work. Oh. See, okay, I have to rename. So we are able to access this, methods. Okay, but the implementation that we are getting here, this is nothing but implementation, correct, of these functions. So the implementation that I'm getting is wrong, correct? If it is wrong, then I want to change this implementation. How can I do it? We can do it by way of overriding. Overriding means we need to define all those functions because this speak is available in grandchild. How can we see it is available? Let me do dir of. See, speak and walk, these are available In my grandchild object, it is available. And this grandchild object, it is made out of child. And this child has inherited everything from your, parent. So this, it has become a grandfather. Then this has become father, and this has become your child. Okay. So in this case, how many levels are there for inheritance? For this grandchild, there is 2 level. Okay. And for this child, it is 1 level. And parent, it is like at the top. But we know like this parent is also inheriting something. From which class this parent inheriting? Initially, I've covered it in the lecture today. It is inheriting from object class. I told you, no? See now it's also working. So why don't we write here object? Because we understand if you don't specify also, it will be the same. We can consider that this parent is inheriting from a class called object class in Python. We can consider this. Object class is a class in Python, which is the parent of all the classes. So now this, yeah, I was showing this example. When I was doing this, I was getting this behavior. Like parent can speak, parent can walk, but I don't want parent and, parent should speak and walk. I want grandchild should speak and walk. So in that case, I can write my own definitions in, then speak. Here also self will come. Then I can write like grandchild will uh, can speak. Now let me execute. Now we are able to say grandchild can speak, grandchild can walk. So this is called overriding of methods. We have used the behavior name as it is, okay, along with the parameters also. Here also self is there, here also self is there. But the implementation we can change. Okay, this is called overriding in Python. So overriding comes under the topic called polymorphism. Okay, poly means many forms, morph means form. That was about override. Okay, now I'll do one thing. I think this object-oriented programming, uh, you got specifically for Pavni, you may require some time. Okay, so can you do one thing? Like, can you explore something from your side about this object-oriented programming in Python, and we'll connect on Monday so
Okay,
that it will be more, because what I am going to do, I am going to write the code. Using code, I can demonstrate, but maybe you need more than that. Okay, so can you please explore from your side? From Ram perspective, I can understand since he has already studied Java. Java is more robust than Python in case of object-oriented programming. What does this statement indicate? It indicates all the properties which are associated with object-oriented programming can be well explained in case of Java as compared to Python. And that's why Python is not used for robust programming. Python is used for new technologies like your automation or this AI ML. For those things, Python has been introduced because of its library. Strong libraries are there. Those are not available in Java or C++. Okay.